Hi, good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so I think we should begin. And just a second, let me share the screen. Okay, so in the last two sessions, we discussed the part one and the part two of the poem, The Rime of Ancient Mariner. So let me tell you in brief what was there in part one and what was there in part two. So part one is basically the introduction to the poem, or is the background of the poem, the part one. Of course, in the last stanza of part one, we see the ancient mariner uh, who is feeling guilty for having killed the holy bird albatross. Okay, so in the part one we saw, or we looked that uh, the ancient mariner has stopped three people, and out of that three people, two have already left, and one of the three have been stopped by uh, the glittering eyes of that ancient mariner, who is actually a wedding guest. That who has been stopped by the ancient mariner is actually a wedding guest, and somehow the poet is trying to portray that that wedding guest have been hypnotized by the ancient mariner and is now hypnotized to listen to the tale of the ancient mariner. So in the part one, we discussed how the ancient mariner began with the story, with his story of a voyage, and at the end of the part one, the ancient mariner confessing that he has killed the holy bird, the albatross. And with this confession of ancient mariner, the part one ended. In part two, the ancient mariner is continuing his tale, and we see the progress of the story, the progress of the tale that the ancient mariner was telling to the wedding guest. Okay, and in the second part, we saw that how they were pulled aside to the southern region, to the icy region, which is somehow uh, thought to be the Antarctic region, and how a bird, albatross, a bird named albatross, helped them to come out of the icy region, who rescued them with the south wind, and how they came out of that a dangerous place, and they're sailing happily towards the northern region, north side. Okay, and the playfulness of albatross bird also have been portrayed by the poet in the poem, how playfully the bird albatross used to visit them, used to sit on the mast of the ship, and used to receive food from them. But uh, the ancient mariner killed the bird, or slayed the bird with his crossbow, and for which the crew member, they are blaming, they blamed the ancient mariner at the beginning that you have killed a holy bird. Okay, but later when they have come out of that dangerous place, they started praising ancient mariner that you have done a very good job by killing that bird, because that bird brought fog and mist to that area. Okay, so they are changing their attitude very often. Sometimes they are praising the ancient mariner, some other time they are blaming him. Okay, and continuously they are being changed with their thought process. Okay, so this time they have killed, sorry, the ancient mariner has killed the albatross bird, and since they are missing the playfulness of the albatross bird now, the ancient mariner is feeling guilty for having killed that bird. Okay, and towards the end of what was there at the end of uh, just a second, wait, if we have, yes, we have this one. What was there in the last stanza? In the last stanza we found that uh, they are now, they are now feeling very guilty. All the crew members have blamed the ancient mariner for having killed the holy word, the messenger, the holy messenger of the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, and they have taken away the holy cross from the neck of the ancient mariner, and the ancient mariner, as if feeling like that the dead body of the albatross bird has been hung from his neck, hung about his neck. Okay, it means what, he is feeling very guilty now for having killed that holy bird. Okay, so that was there in the part 1 and part 2. Now this is the third part of the poem. In the first part, if we will talk about this just one line description of the parts, then in part 1 we found uh, the introduction to the poem or the background of the poem, along with the confession of the hellish act that the ancient mariner committed. Okay, confession. Part 1 is all about confession. Then the second part is about their regret, how they are feeling, how they are regretting now for having killed that holy bird. Okay, so let's look at part 3 now. What's there in the third part? Okay, so there passed a very time, each throat was purchased. Yes, in the last part, in part second part, we saw that they are lacking the water to drink now, and they do not have any water to drink now. Okay, and it's been many days that they do not have water to drink. Okay, so now we are continuing with that story, that same story. Here says, there passed a very time, each throat was purged and glazed each eye. A very time, how glazed each very eye. When looking westward, I beheld a something in the sky. Okay, so the ancient mariner, continuing with the story and telling to the wedding guest that they are past a very time. It means what, they are very weary now, they are very tired now. Okay, and since they have been suffering from a very long period of time, it's been very difficult for them to survive now, and they are dead tired now. Okay, each throat was purged. Purged means completely dried. Their throats are completely dried, and glazed each eye, and their eyes are as if soning. Okay, their eyes, it's not they are unable to look at anything properly. Okay, a very time. Okay, that we call anaphora. Okay, how glazed each very eye, and all of the eyes of all the sailors have been glazed now. Okay, when looking westward, I beheld a something in the sky. Okay, so now the ancient mariner looked towards the west side. Okay, western direction. They are moving towards the northern direction now. And when he looked towards the west, he beheld. Beheld means looked. Behold means to look. So here it is the past form of behold. So he beheld something in the sky. Okay, far away from him, he noticed something. He found out something. What was that? Let's move on to the second stanza to get it. At first, it seemed a little speck, and then it seemed a mist. It moved and took at last a certain shape I wished. Okay, so at first it seemed like a speck. Speck means a spot. Okay, in the beginning it seemed to him to be a spot. Spot means a dag. Okay, କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଦାଗ ଭଳିଆ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଜଣା ପଡିଲା, and then it seemed a mist, then it appeared as if it is to be a mist, fog. Okay, it moved and moved, but it was moving. Okay, and it continuously moving, it moved and took at last a certain shape. And finally he was confused that what was it. Sometimes he is considering it to be a speck, a simple spot. Sometimes he is thinking it to be a fog. Okay, so they are trying to figure out that what is that. Okay, and that thing, because they are completely still now, they are motionless now, because the entire ocean have been completely silent, and so silent that in the last class he was we found him telling that the entire silence, the entire ocean was so silent that if we were trying to say something, then we were breaking the silence of the sea. Okay, so that was completely silent. And in order to understand that how silent, how silent the ocean was, we can go back to that stanza in which he is telling that as if the ship on which they are boarding, the ship is so still as if it has been painted. It's just a painting. Okay, so they are completely still now, they are motionless. But the other thing that the ancient mariner is noticing, the other thing that the ancient mariner is the ancient mariner has looked far away from him, that is moving. Okay, that is making some movements. Okay, and finally it took a save. Finally it took a save. I wished means I knew. Okay, it took a save which the ancient mariner might be knowing. Okay, he is not sure, but he might be knowing of the save. He might be knowing something about the save which the which and he is now guessing that this might be that if I wished. And still it neared and neared, as if it dodged a water sprite. It plunged and sagged and veered. Okay, so as I told you that he is not sure. Okay, he is not sure about it, that what was that that thing. Okay, they were trying to figure out, and he was unable to figure it out. Okay, so he is continuously thinking that it might be a speck or a spot, it might be a fog, or any safe that he might be knowing, that the ancient mariner might be knowing. He didn't know what was it, but he is guessing, he's just making some guesses. And still it neared and neared. Okay, they were trying to figure that out, that what was that. And in the meantime, that unknown thing is nearing them. It is coming near to them gradually. Eventually it is coming to them, as if it does the water sprite. And how it is coming to them? As if it does a water sprite. It means what? As if it is breaking a we can say it is evading a water sprite. Water sprite means a kind of spirit that lives in the water. Okay, as if it is evading a water sprite. It plunged and tacked and veered. Okay, it is continuously moving. Okay, sometimes it is stopping, and veered means changing the direction continuously. Okay, so this way that the unknown safe is coming to them. Okay, so what is that unknown thing that we will try to figure that out? What was that unknown thing? With throats unslaked, with black lips baked, we could nor laugh or wail. Just a second. Yes, with throats unslaked, with black lips baked, we could nor laugh nor wail. Through utter drought, all dumb we stood. I bit my arm, I sucked my blood, and cried, a shale, a shale. Okay, with throats unslaked. Unslaked means what? Their throats, as I told you in the previous slides, that their throats were completely dried up. okay, with black lips baked. Okay, since they were not drinking for a uh, for many days, they have not got water to drink. So their lips have been now completely black, as if it has been baked. Okay, we could nor laugh nor wail. Okay, and since they are not getting water to drink for many days, they are unable to either to laugh or to wail or to cry. Wail means cry. Okay, so they are unable because they have been completely restless now. They have been completely tired. Okay, so they are unable to do anything, they are unable to move even. Okay, through utter drought, all dumb we stood. Okay, through utter drought. Drought means the lack of water. So since though they are in the middle of the ocean, they do not have a single drop of water to drink, and because of that kind of a drought, they have been completely dumb. And being dumb, they are watching at that unknown thing that is appearing gradually, and that is coming near to them eventually. Okay, and the ancient mariner is telling here that I beat my arm, I sucked the blood, and cried, a sail, a sail. They didn't have any single drop of water to drink. So what did he do? He beat his arm. Okay, and by beating his arm, he sucked a few drops of blood so that his throats would be somehow wet. Okay, so he sucked the blood. Okay, he sucked the blood from his own body. Okay, and he cried out after his throat had been somehow wet. He cried out, a sail, a sail. Okay, and look at the punctuation marks here. It is exclamation mark. It says that they're on the surface of the same ocean. Okay, but they have been completely still, they have been completely motionless, but the other object is moving and coming towards them. So that was somehow surprising. Okay, that was somehow astounding to them. Okay, a matter of astonishment. Okay, so that's why he cried it out, a sail, a sail. With throats unslit, with black lips baked, agape they heard me call. Gramercy, for joy did grin, and all at once their breath drew in, as they were drinking all. Okay, with throats unslicked. See, you can see the poetic device have been used here, repetition, because the same line have been repeated. The same line had been repeated in the previous stanza, with throats unslicked, with black lips baked. Agave they heard me call. Agave means they are surprised now. Okay, surprisingly, since they were completely silent for a very long period of time because they were not getting any water to drink. That's why they were completely silent. But now, since he sucked a few drops of blood from his own body, he is now able to cry out, a sail, a sail. And listening to the voice of the ancient mariner, all other sailors, they are completely surprised, and being surprised, they are listening to the ancient mariner. Okay, gramercy, they for joy did grin. Gramercy here means showing attitude, an act of showing attitude. Sorry, gratitude, not attitude. An act of showing gratitude. Okay, gramercy, they for joy did grin, and they all others. They here is has been referred to the sailors. Okay, so the sailors, they somehow they started smiling. Okay, as if they have got an opportunity of being rescued from that uh, from that difficult situations. Okay, and all at once their breath drew in. Okay, and all other sailors at a time, they drew in their breaths as they were drinking all. Okay, because they are getting a sense of feel that they will be rescued now. Okay, they are getting the sense now. That's why they are feeling, they are showing gramercy now. It means what? They are showing their gratitude. They are expressing their gratitude. See, I cried, see, tax no more, hitherto work us will. Without a breeze, without a tide, see, steadies with upright keel. Okay, so now the ancient mariner is more excited, and being very excited, he is crying out once again, Okay, he's shouting 1 second and he's telling, see, text no more. Text means to stop. Okay, so see, text no more. It is not stopping anymore. That unknown object, that strange object, is not taking any halt anymore. It is continuously moving towards them. Hitherto work us will. Okay, and that unknown object, that strange object, is nearing them in order to make something good for them. Okay, they are thinking that something good is going to be happened with them, because that they have watched something moving on the surface of the ocean. So they are getting a kind of relaxations now, that two things might happen. That one is that either they will be rescued to that unknown strange object, or they will get something to eat or drink. Okay, without a breeze. And the reason why they were surprised was, without a breeze, without a tide, she steadies with upright keel. Okay, as we have discussed in the second part of the poem, also in the beginning of this part, I told you all that there was no breeze at all. The wind is not blowing at all, without any tide. And without such, if there is no breeze, no tide, then how can any object on the surface of the ocean can flow? Okay, can float. That's quite not possible, because they are experiencing themselves now, because their ship have been completely motionless for many days. So this was a matter of surprise for them. She steadies with upright keel. Keel here, KWL, keel. Keel here means the bottom part of a ship, the wooden bottom part of a ship, which helps them to which helps the ship to to be placed on the surface of the ocean in a proper manner. Okay, so that unknown object, it continuously moving towards them, and that is a matter of surprise to all of them. Along with ancient mariner, all other sailors have been completely stunned. The western wave was all aflame. The day was well nigh done. Almost upon the western wave rested the bold bright sun, when the strange ship drove suddenly betwixt us and the sun. Okay, the western wave was all aflame. Okay, the wave that was coming from the western side was all like a flame. Okay, the day was well nigh done, and the day was completely it is almost the time of dusk. Okay, it is almost that the sun is going to be set. Okay, almost upon the western wave rested the broad bright sun. Okay, almost upon the western wave, the sun is going to be set now, when the strange ship drove suddenly between ox and the sun. And uh, all of a sudden, that strange ship, or the strange object, came in between the sun and them. Okay, so if they are at a point, then the strange ship, because the sun is going to be set now, so it means what, they're parallel, they're in a parallel line now. Okay, so between them and the sun, the strange shape appeared all of a sudden. Okay, and straight the sun was flecked with bars. Heaven's mother sent us grace, as if through a dungeon great he peered, with broad and burning face. Okay, a strange, and straight the sun was flecked with bars. Okay, the sun is appearing now. Sun is visible now. But how is it visible? The sun is visible, but how? Flecked with bars. Okay, as if all of you might have watched the movie The Pirates of Caribbean. Have you? Have you watched the movie The Pirates of Caribbean?
No, sir.
Caribbean Sea? If I'm talking to myself only. Okay,
No,
have you
sir.
watched the movie The Pirates of the Caribbean Sea?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So those who have watched, don't worry if you have not watched the movie. I'll clear it out. those who have watched the movie, there is a scene, there is a scene in which the ghost thief appeared, and the ghost thief is completely damaged, and it is appearing as if the skeleton of the thief.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
same thing that
Yes,
you can that you can imagine here. Okay, the bars here means the bar of the ships. It means what? The ship has completely been damaged, and only the bars are there. Okay, it is completely transparent. The ship is completely transparent. It means what? Ship रे केवल मात्र से जो बार माने अछि केवल मात्र बार माने ही देखा जाउछि. ओके, सो ship रो गोटे पटरे छिडा हेले तार आर पटरे कोन सब अछि सब देखा जाउछि. ओके, सो जेहेतु सेही unknown ship टा, that is actually an unknown ship, जेहेतु से unknown ship टा एई सेलर्स कर जहाज एवं सूर्यंकर मझिरे आसीगला, तो सेमाने जेतेले एपटू जहाज को देखुचंती, जहाज रो सेपटे थिबा सूर्य भी मध्य देखा जाउछि, किंतु सूर्य कंप्लीटली देखा जाउनंती. सूर्यंकर ऊपरे बार माने थिबार देखा जाउछि, एज इफ that the sun is there in the jail. Okay, as if the sun have been imprisoned. Okay, sei bhulia dekha jaउछि. Okay, heaven's mother sent us grace. Heaven's mother here means Queen Mary, the mother of Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, se ebe kouchanti that heaven's mother Queen Mary has sent us this grace, has blessed us, as if through a dungeon grate he peered. As if through a dungeon grate. Dungeon means a jail. Okay, jail. As if through a, and grate means that bars of the grate, bars of the jail. Okay, माने जो बार थाए, okay, say bar ru he peered. Who peered? He here means who is he?
Sun.
Yes, the sun have been personified here, as if he is say एमती लागुची जेमती कि से माने से dungeon रो सेपटू एमानकु देखुछ, sun टा देखुचंती ए भलिया लागुछ तांको, with broad and burning face. Okay, the face of the sun is very broad and it is very burning. Okay, I hope I made sense with this stanza. If you didn't understand anything, then you can ask at the end of the class also. We will once again come back to this stanza, because this stanza is somehow confusing. I don't think I don't know whether I made sense to all of you or not. Okay, alas, thought I, and my heart beat loud. How fast in years and years are those her sails that glance in the sun like restless gossamers. Alas, he is now disappointed, because he was thinking that something is appearing to them which is going to rescue them from this dangerous situation, from this difficult situation. But when they found out that that is actually a skeleton of a thief, he is now disappointed, and he's telling that his heart was beating very loud. How fast in years and years that strange thief appeared to them in a very short period of time. It was coming very fast to them. Are those are sails that glance in the sun like restless gossamers? Gossamers means the cobweb. Okay, मकड़ी का जाल जो आमे कहू gossamers, cobweb. Okay, से जहाजटा सेही भलिया देखा जाउछि, cobweb भलिया देखा जाउछि. Okay, काइना the body of the ship has completely been damaged, only the bars are there. तो सेही पई सेटे गोटे cobweb, मकड़ी रा जाला भलिया खाली देखा जाउछि. Are those are reefs through which the sun did peer as through a grate? And is that woman all her crew? Is that a death? And are there two? Is death that woman's mate? Okay, so now he is telling that are those are reefs through which the sun did peer as through a gate. Okay, reefs means what? The rib cage of the human body. Okay, rib cage. All of you know the rib cage. Okay, rib cage को आमे कोन को ओडिया रे हाड़ पिंजर बोधे कहूचे आमे ना अलगा किछि
पंजरा हाड़
पंजरा आमे कहूची. Yes. Okay, if all of you understood the word panjara, if any other words are there, please do suggest so that everyone can understand. आउ किछि ओडिया वर्ड अछि कि तार पई reef पई? Nothing. So I hope all of you understood with the word panjara. so as if that ମାନେ ଏଇଠି ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆମର ଯେମିତି ପଞ୍ଜରା ଥାଏ ଠିକ ସେମିତି ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ପଞ୍ଜରା ଭଳିଆ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ଏଇଟା ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଏଇଟା ସେ ଜାହାଜର ପଞ୍ଜରା କି ବୋଲି କହୁଛନ୍ତି which through which ଯାହା ଯାହା ମଧ୍ୟ ଦେଇକି କି ସନ୍ ଆମକୁ ଦେଖୁଥିଲା as through a grate ଗୋଟେ ଜେଲ ଭିତରୁ ଦେଖିଲା ଭଳିଆ ସେ ସନ୍ ଟା ଆମକୁ ଦେଖୁଥିଲା ବୋଲି ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି and is that woman all her crew okay it means what that the crew members are there only women and a single woman not women a single woman okay is that a death okay is there another passenger who is death are there two are there only two two means what a woman and death are there only two members on the boarding the ship is death that woman's mate okay and are the two are mates friends woman and death are their friends that's what uh, the ancient mariner is thinking in his mind now okay her lips were red her looks were free her locks were yellow as gold her skin was as white as a leprosy that nightmare life in death was she who thicks man's blood with cold okay so he's talking about the woman now two passengers are there on the two passengers are boarding on the ship one is a woman another one is death so he is giving the description of the woman and by giving the description of the woman he is now telling that her lips were red her looks were free it means what she was a free she was very free now it means what continuously changing her locks were yellow and gold locks means what the hair of the woman was yellow and gold okay her skin was as white as leprosy okay her skin was completely white as a person suffering from leprosy has then talking about the another passenger the nightmare life in death was she okay she was so she was so frightful okay she was appearing so dangerous that he is calling him a nightmare he is calling her a nightmare who thicks man's blood with cold okay and if one is looking at that woman then his blood would be cold it will be completely thick okay thick means what when the blood will be thick then the blood circulation will not be possible and if the blood circulation is not happening in our body then we will die it means what if one is looking at the that person life in death then his or her death is for sure okay that's what the ancient mariner is telling the naked hawk alongside came and the twain were casting dice the game is done I have won quoth she and whistles thrice the naked hawk here means the strange uh, skeleton sheep I can say the skeleton sheep alongside came it came near to them okay near to their sheep and the twine means twine here means both of them the two the death and life in death the two persons boarding the unknown sheep the twine were casting dice and they were throwing dice okay they were throwing dice say ludo ro jo dice thae they were throwing dice and the game is done I have won quoth she and finally the life in death it started crying out and telling that the game is over now and I have won it and she whistles for 3 times okay what is happening after the whistling for 3 times what is happening there the sun dreams deeps the stars rush out at one stride comes the dark with far head whisper over the sea obsert the spectre bark okay the sun dream dips rim means the outer part of the sun the sun dream dips it gradually setting down okay and completely it is set the sun is completely set now the stars rush out and the stars came out at the night time at one stride comes the dark okay and they did not experience the dusk. Okay, as soon as the sun has set, it is completely dark now. Okay, it is completely dark at one stride. In just a moment, with far hearts whisper over the sea, offshot the spectre bark. Okay, with far heart means what? Everywhere in the ocean, they're listening to some whispers everywhere. Okay, all around the ocean, they're listening to some whispers, and all of a sudden, offshot the spectre bark. Spectre bark here means that unknown thief. Okay, the skeleton thief. It became completely invisible all of a sudden. Okay, all of a sudden it disappeared from the sight of the ancient mariner and from the sight of the sailors. All of a sudden it disappeared. Then we listened and looked sideways off, fear at my heart as at a cough. My life blood seemed to sift. The stars were dim, the thick the night. The steersman's face by his lamp gleamed white. From the sails the dew did drift, till clomb of the eastern bar the haunt moon with one bright star within the nether tiff. Okay, so what is happening there then? We listened and looked sideways off. So they are now listening to, they are now listening to the whispering sound there in the ocean. Okay, and by listening they looked off. Okay, they all of them, they looked up in the sky, fear at my heart. And the ancient mariner is telling that I was completely afraid, as at a cough, as if the cup, as the cup is filled with anything, like be it tea, coffee, water, whatever. As the cup is filled with anything, his heart is also now filled with fear. Okay, my blood seemed to sieve, and as if that somebody is sipping, somebody is taking sips of the blood from the body of the ancient mariner. Okay, the stars were dim, although the stars were visible there, but the stars were dim, and thick was the night, and it was a thick night. Okay, very dark night. The steersman's face by his lamp gleamed white. Okay, the steersman's, it means what? Those the helmsman. Steersman's means the helmsman who was holding a lamp, and because of that lamp, his face was looking white. Okay, from the sails the dew dripped drops. Okay, from the sails the dew used to drop. Okay, till clomb above the eastern bar. Okay, মানে drop dew drops তো পড়ুଥିଲା কিন্তু table যায় till climb here means climb, till climb above the eastern bar. The haunt moon means what? The crescent moon, ଅର୍ଦ୍ଧଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଆମେ ଯାହାକୁ କହୁ, the crescent moon, haunt moon, କାହିଁକି ନା ତାର ଦି ପଟରେ ବାହାରି ଥାଏ, ମାନେ ସିଂହ ବଲିଆ ବାହାରି ଥାଏ, ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ତାକୁ haunt moon ବୋଲିକି କୁହାଯାଏ. Okay, the haunt moon with one bright star within the nether tip. Okay, say haunt moon, the crescent moon, the ଅର୍ଦ୍ଧଚନ୍ଦ୍ରର ତଲେ, ଠିକ ତଲେ, neither means lower, below. Okay, ଠିକ ତଲେ ଗୋଟେ bright star ଦେଖା ଯାଉଥିଲା. Okay, ଅର୍ଦ୍ଧଚନ୍ଦ୍ରର ଠିକ ତଲେ ଗୋଟେ bright star ଦେଖା ଯାଉଥିଲା. Okay, and they noticed that scene in the sky. Okay, and that is actually a sign of bad luck for the sailors. Okay, ସମସ୍ତେ ମାନେ those who are visiting, or those who are traveling through the seaways, all of them believe that such a view brings bad luck to the sailors. Okay, and they noticed such a scene there in the sky, a crescent moon, and under that crescent moon there is a bright star, and as if that appears as if like that the bright star is following the crescent moon, the haunt moon. Okay, one after one, by the star dogged moon, too quick for a groan, too quick for groan or sigh, each turned his face with a ghastly pang and cursed me with his eye. Okay, so by the dogged moon, star dogged moon, it means what? Star dogged moon means what? The star is dogging the moon, following the moon, and because of that view, because of that scene only, that one after another, all the sailors, one after another, all the sailors, they fell down on the deck of the ship, and they fell down so quick that there was no time for them to groan, no sign at all, no sigh at all. Okay, they felt deadly pain, and they fell on the deck of the ship, and their eyes wide open, and through the eyes, as if they were cursing the ancient mariner. Okay, only the ancient mariner is standing on his leg now. Okay, all others have fallen down on the deck of the ship. 4 times 50 living men, and I heard nor sigh nor groan. With heavy thump, a lifeless lump, they dropped down one by one. Okay, 4 times 50 living men. Okay, 4 times 50 means 200 living men were there as crew members of the ship. Okay, so 200 people, and I heard nor sigh nor groan, and he didn't heard any kind of noise. He didn't heard anything from that sailors. With heavy thump, he heard only one thing, that is the falling of them on the deck of the ship, a lifeless lump, as if it is the lump of a dead bodies. Okay, ମାନେ ମୃତ ଶରୀର ମାନଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଢେର ଭଳିଆ ସେଟା ଦେଖା ପଡୁଥିଲା. Okay, they dropped down one by one, ଗୋଟେ ପରେ ଗୋଟେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପଡୁଛନ୍ତି, କେବଳ ମାତ୍ର ତାଙ୍କର ପଡିବାର ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ ଧଡାମ ଶବ୍ଦଟା ଆସୁଛି, ଖାଲି ସେଇ ଶବ୍ଦଟା ଏନସିଏଣ୍ଟ ମେରିନରକୁ ଶୁଭା ଯାଉଛି, ଆଉ କିଛି ବି ନାହିଁ ଶୁଭା ଯାଉନି ତାଙ୍କୁ. Okay, the souls did from their bodies fly, they fled to bliss or woe, and every soul it passed me by like the witch of my crossbow. Okay, the souls did their body flies. Okay, from their bodies, their soul flied away. Okay, ତାଙ୍କର ଶରୀରରୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଆତ୍ମା ଉଡ଼ିଗଲା. They fled to bliss or woe. ଏବଂ ସେଇ ଆତ୍ମା ମାନେ either the souls that fled to bliss, it means heaven, or to woe means hell. या तो heaven को गले या फिर hell को गले. And every soul it passed me by, and one by one each soul is passing him by. Okay, passing him. And how it is passing? It is passing as the witch of the crossbow. Okay, when he shot at anything, the way the bow crosses, so the arrow cross like that only, the soul is passing with just a fraction of seconds. Okay, and by comparing the passing of the souls with the witch of the crossbow, he is once again repenting for the hellish act that he has committed by killing the bird albatross. Okay, he is regretting, he is repenting here. Okay, so that's all there in the third part of the poem. I hope all of you have understood this. If any part you didn't understand, then do let me know, so that we can go back to that section and I will explain it to you.
Sir, please mention death and life in death.
Sorry, your voice is not clearly audible. It's very low.
The difference between death and life in death.
Can you please type it out? What you are trying to say? It's not audible properly.
Sir, she is saying that what is the difference between death and life and death, the two words?
Okay, so there are two passengers or two crew members on the unknown ship. One is death, and another one is actually the life in death. It means a woman. Okay, so we will understand the significance of death. Of course, all of you have understood what is death. Okay, all of us know what is death, and in Christianity at least, what is life and death, that we will understand at the end of the poem when we will analyze it critically. Just for now, for the sake of understanding, literally, without taking any poetical device, literally telling that there are two crew members. One is death, another one is a woman who has been addressed as life in death. Okay, and the poet says, or we cannot say the poet, the ancient mariner says that life and death is such a nightmare that whoever is looking at that image or the persona of life in death will definitely face death, will eventually die, because the blood of the person who is looking at life in death will be thick and cold. And when it is thick and cold, there will be the blood circulation in our body will be stopped, hence we will be dead soon. Okay.
Sir,
Anything
what
else?
is the
Yes,
meaning of
yes.
sir? What is the meaning of actually rhyme?
What is the meaning of
Rhyme.
rhyme?
Rhyme of
R-I-M-E.
ancient. Yes.
Rhyme is actually it has multiple meanings. If uh, the common use of rhyme, R-I-M-E, is actually an archaic word for rhyme, R-H-Y-M-E. But here rhyme means something else, that is verse. Verse means the song. Okay, it is not usually used in nowadays in the modern English. Now we do not use rhyme, we use verse. So we can say that rhyme is an old word for verse. So it is a verse, a story in the form of verse, we can say, of the rhyme of the ancient mariner. Okay.
Sir, can we compare this ballad with Titanic?
With Titanic, yes, if you supply enough proof, then we can.
Sir, actually, I don't understand what is the cause of accident and in which ocean it was taking place.
Okay, so let me tell you. Let me tell you just like a story. We have not moved to the end of the story. So up to this, ଆଜି ଯେତେ ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିଛେ ତାକୁ ଟିକେ ସମରାଇଜ ମୁଁ କରିଦଉଛି କଣ ହେଇଛି. Let me tell you in Odia. The ancient
Okay.
mariner. Yes, you're trying to say something.
Okay, sir. So you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. So the ancient mariner, से कौन କରୁଛନ୍ତି, तीन जन लोकंकु अटकाउଛନ୍ତି. से तीन जन जाक गोटे माने बाहाघर माने से अटेंड करबा पे जाउଛନ୍ତି. सेही समय रे से एंशिएंट मेरिनर का तीन जन को अटकाउଛନ୍ତି. ओके, किंतु से तीन जन मध्यरु दी जन माने से तांको सुनी के अनदेखा करिकि सेठी पले जाउଛନ୍ତି. But there is another person who stopped. Okay, and he has been stopped by the glittering eye. तांकर आखी को देखि एवं तांकर जो ग्रे बियर्ड अछि तार द्वारा से माने attractive, because of the attractive look of the ancient mariner, से सेठी रहि जाउଛନ୍ତି. माने हमें कहि परिबा कि से hypnotize हे जाइछନ୍ତି. Okay, the wedding guest ता hypnotize हे जाइछନ୍ତି एवं
By beating his breast, there is the line by beating his breast.
No, that comes later. That comes later. By beating his breast, that comes later. एबे तार प्रीवियस स्टैंजाटा देखो, तमे जो स्टैंजाटा देखुछो तार प्रीवियस स्टैंजाटा देखो, सेति लेखा हितबो जे कोन, by the glittering eye and gray beard of the person he has been attracted. Okay, माने hypnotize हिछंती एवं से सेठी अटकी जाउछंती. एई समय रे एंशिएंट मेरिनर तांकर गोटे स्टोरीटा स्टार्ट करूछंती. ओके, सो इन द बिगिनिंग से जेतले गोटे स्टोरी स्टार्ट करछंती, बिगिनिंग रे कोन कोन कहउछंती कि हमें गोटे सेल रे जाइथिलु एवं सेल रे एमती हैला सब एया सब हैला. माने से जेतले बिगिनिंग स्टार्ट करूछंती तो से वेडिंग गेस्ट जो थिले से माने बाहागर को जीवा पई चाहुतिले. तो से एई कथाटा भाबुछंती कि बाहागर को समस्त जाई सारलो नै, मो फैमिली मेंबर्स मध्ये समस्त जाई सारलेनी, एंड आई एम द नेक्स्ट टू गो and I have to go. Do let me go. See, beating the breast, माने तो मैं जो कहूँ beating the breast, that is actually a sign of revolt, that I don't want to listen to your story. I want to go into that wedding hall. All my family members have already entered, and I want to go. So see, he has been distracted by many things. Such as the wedding music, okay, the entrance of the bride, एवं एई सब जिंस द्वारा से डिस्ट्रैक्ट हिचंती एवं तांक स्टोरी रु दूर हि जाउछंती. किंतु परे परे जतले स्टोरी धीरे धीरे करी इवेंचुअली बढ़ी बढ़ी जाउची, से मध्य बहुत इंटरेस्टिंगली सुनुछंती. द वेडिंग गेस्ट इज आल्सो लिसनिंग टू द स्टोरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. तो कोन हिची स्टोरीटा, एबे मु स्टोरीटा कहूची. स्टोरी हिची दैट द एंशिएंट मेरिनर अलोंग विथ हिज सेलर्स, तांकर किछिटा क्रू मेंबर सहित से माने साउथ डायरेक्शन को जाउथिले. ओके गोटे जहाज साहाय्य गोटे साउथ डायरेक्शन को जाउथिले एई समय रे गोटे जोरसोर पवन बहिला एवं बहुत जोर पवन बहिबा द्वारा तांकर शिप तांको आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल गला पवन बहिला नहीं इट वाज एक्चुअली अ स्टॉर्म ड्यू टू अ स्टॉर्म ओके the ship was out of their control now and because of that they were completely moved to the Antarctic region or the icy region okay ସେଇ ଭଳିଆ
କୋଉ ଓସେନ ରେ ଥିଲେ ସାର୍ एक्चुअली ମାନେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ଟା କୋଉଠି ହେଇଥିଲା ମାନେ ପାସିଫିକ ଓସେନ ନା ଆଟଲାଣ୍ଟିକ ओशन ନା କୋଉଠି ସେ ଶିଫ୍ଟ ଥିଲା
no they were in କୋଉଠି ଥିଲେ ସେଟା हमको କୁହା ଯାଇନି okay so we can say it is either Pacific Ocean okay ଆମେ ଆମେ ଚିନ୍ତା କରିବା କି ଏଟା Pacific Ocean ହେଇ ଥାଇ ପାରେ କାଇଁ ନା हमको କୋଉ ओशन ର କଥା କୁହା ଯାଉଛି हमको ସେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଜାଣୁଛେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ना मु तुमको कहूची कि अंटार्कटिक रीजन बोली कि पोएम रे कोनोसी भी जगह रे कहा जायनी कि एटा अंटार्कटिक रीजन बोली कि मु कहूची काई ना से माने एम्ति गोटे डिस्क्रिप्शन दउछंती को बोले डिस्क्रिप्शन दउछंती दैट द पोएट इज डिस्क्राइबिंग दैट लैंड टू बी कंप्लीटली फिल्ड विथ आइस ब्लॉक्स ओके बरफ रे माने कंप्लीटली फिल ही रही जायछि सेहिति पय मु कहूची दैट दैट माइट बी ही द पोएट माइट बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द अंटार्कटिक रीजन ओके आमे सेटा को माने गेस करि परिबा हेई थाई पारे आमे सेटा अटे बोली कहि परिबा नाही ओके सो ड्यू टू द स्टॉर्म दे हैव बीन कंप्लीटली मूव्ड टू द टू दैट लैंड ओके दे हैव बीन कंप्लीटली मूव्ड एंड आफ्टर दैट से माने सेठी फसी जाउछंदी फसी के रहि जाउछंदी काई ना फसी के रहि जाउछंदी बिकॉज़ सेठी बहुत बड़ बड़ आईसी ब्लॉक्स माने अछि आइस ब्लॉक्स माने अछि एवं से आइस ब्लॉक्स रे तांकर जहाज मूव करि पारलान फसिकी सेठी रही गला ओके एट दैट टाइम दे आर नाउ वेटिंग फॉर ए अपॉर्चुनिटी टू बी रेस्क्यूड फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया ओके एई समय रे गुटे बर्ड आसुची ओके a bird is appearing now and the name of the bird is albatross ओके एंड जते बेले से बर्ड आसुची बर्ड ता जते उड़ी उड़ी आसुची सेही समय रे सेही तांकर पछपटु माने साउथ डायरेक्शन रु बहुत जोर पवन बहुची ओके एवं जेतेले जोरसोर पवन बहुची सेते बेले तांकर जहाजटा से आईसी ब्लॉक्स रे जो फसी के रहितला सेइटु से बाहर को बाहरी आसुची ओके एवं बाहर को जेतेले बाहरी आसुची किछि दूर को आसला परे अल्बाट्रस बर्डटा तांको फॉलो करूची ओके प्रत्येक दिन तांको फॉलो करूची तांकर जो डेक रो मास्ट थाए एज रे बसी की तांकटू खाइबा नउची खाउची एवं तांकर जहाज रो चारिआडे घुरी बुलुची जेते बेले भी से सेलर्स माने डाकी देउचंती माने गुटे पोसा जीव भलिया से आसी की तांको पाखरे बसुची एवं तांकटू खाइबाटा नउची ओके एंड द अल्बाट्रस बर्ड इज शोइंग इट्स प्लेफुलनेस टू द सेलर्स एंड द एंशिएंट मेरिनर्स ओके दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द सेकंड पार्ट ओके एवं एते सब हैला परे आई डोंट नो हाउ एंड व्हाई द एंशिएंट मेरिनर्स शॉट द अल्बाट्रस बर्ड विथ इट्स क्रॉसबो ओके तांकर क्रॉसबो सहाय्य रे तीर सहाय्य रे से अल्बाट्रस बर्ड को शूट कर दउछंती ओके मारी दउछंती ओके जार द्वारा कि जे बाकी जो सेलर्स माने जो थिले क्रू मेंबर्स माने थिले एंशिएंट मेरिनर को बहुत ब्लेम करूचंती ओके कहउचंती कि जो बर्ड द्वारा आमे माने एते असुविधा रु आमे बाहरी की आसिले ओके ताकू तू मार देलु बोली कि समस्त ताकू ब्लेम माने एंशिएंट मेरिनर को ब्लेम करूचंती ओके बट परे परे आमे देखुचे पुनी कि सही क्रू मेंबर्स पुनी तांको प्रशंसा भी करूचंती प्रशंसा कोन पई करूचंती कि सही बार्ता मिस्ट ऑफ फॉग ही आनीथिला सही बार्ता ही मिस्ट ऑफ फॉग आनीथिला तो ताकू मारी कि किछि हमें भूल करिने बोली कि से माने निजे कहउचंती किंतु परे परे टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द सेकंड पार्ट अगेन दे आर ब्लेमिंग पुनी तरह से माने ब्लेम करूचंती काई रीजन इज दैट the south wind which was blowing which helped them to come out of the icy region okay से बरफ आच्छादित समुद्र रु तांको जो पवनटा बाहर करिकि आनिला से पवनटा वर्तमान बंद हो जाइछि एवं जेहेतु से पवनटा बंद हो जाइछि तांकर जहाज भी एबे कंप्लीटली साइलेंट माने बिना मूवमेंट रे समुद्र स्थल ऊपर रही के अछि ओके सेति पय वर्तमान एक आउ थरे तांको समस्ते माने एंशिएंट मेरिनर को आउ थरे ब्लेम करचंती एवं कहउचंती कि व्हाई डिड यू किल द होली बर्ड अल्बाट्रस बर्ड बिकॉज़ अल्बाट्रस बर्ड इज एक्चुअली believed to be the messenger of Jesus Christ ओके एवं एया चिंता करिके समस्ते तांको तो से क्रू मेंबर्स माने समस्ते तांको पुनी थरे ब्लेम करले एट द एंड ऑफ द सेकंड पार्ट एवं ब्लेम करिके समस्ते कहिले दैट सिंस यू हैव किल्ड अ होली बर्ड यू आर नॉट सपोज टू वेयर द होली क्रॉस ऑन योर नेक जेहेतु तू गोटे होली बर्ड को माने मारी देछु तो तते होली क्रॉस पिंदिबार किछि अधिकार नाही एवं एया कहि कि तांकर गलारू से होली क्रॉस ता छिनी नै करे ओके होली क्रॉस क्रिश्चियनिटी रो जो सिंबल थाए ताकू तांकर गलारू माने खिंची के नै गले समस्ते एवं जेते बेले तांकर होली क्रॉस ता तांकर गलारू नै जाइछंती द एंशिएंट मेरिनर इज थिंकिंग से चिंता करछंती जेमति कि से अल्बाट्रस बर्ड रो डेड बॉडी ता तांकर गलारे झुला हेछि इट मींस व्हाट the ancient mariner is now regretting and repenting for whatever the sinful act that he had committed. This is the end of the second part. Part 3 रे कोन होउची they are seeking water तांकु पानी बहुत जोरसोर पानी दरकार किंतु तांकु पानी मिलु नाही एवं दिन दिन धरि से माने बिना पानी रे सेठी जेतेले रहि जाइछंती तांकर गलाटा पूरा सुखी जाइछि तांको आखि भीतर को पसी जाइछि आखि पुतला सब भीतर को पसी जाइछि एवं से माने सब बेले प्रार्थना करछंती कि किछि ना किछि हमको आसी कि हेल्प करू एई समय रे से माने एंशिएंट मिनर जेतेले वेस्ट साइड को देखिबे से देखिबे कि दूर रे किछि गुटे देखा जाउछि किछि गुटे देखा जाउछि रो माने से विचार करि बसिबे कि एटा कोन हेथि पारे या तो एटा गुटे कुहुडी हेथि पारे या फिर किछि गुटे शेप एम्ति गुटे आकार हेथि पारे जहा कि मु जाने जहाँ विषय को जाने या से विचार करछंती एया भाबी भाबी से जेतले से वेस्ट साइड को देखुचंती से देखुचंती कि से अननोन ऑब्जेक्ट ता धीरे धीरे मूव करूची तांको आड़ को ओके तांकर पाखो को धीरे धीरे मूव करूची काई कि ना से माने दिन दिन धरि कि पानी मध्ये पी नथिले सेति पई से माने मध्ये एबे किछि कहिबार हालत रे मध्ये नाहंती ओके किंतु जेते बेले से अननोन ऑब्जेक्ट ता बहुत पासो को आसी गला बहुत पाखो को आसी गला तांकर से एंशिएंट मेरिनर कोन कले तांकर हाथ को चोबेइले एवं हाथ को चोबेइले कि किछि बुंदा रक्त तांकर बॉडी रु से शोषि नेले जार द्वारा कि तांकर गला टिके भिजिला ओके गला जेतेले टिके माने गिला ही गला एबे से चित्कार करिवा पई टिके सक्षम हेले एवं से चित्कार करिवा स्टार्ट कर देले कि किछि गुटे आसुची आमड़ को ओके एवं एया कहि कि समस्त बहुत खुशी होउतले एवं खुशी हेबार रीजन ता इया जे जेते बेले पूरा समुद्रटा साइलेंट अछि सेते बेले किछि गुटे मूव करूची माने किछि गुटे स्ट्रेंज से माने देखुचंती किछि गुटे मूव करूची हेई पारे से जहा आसुची तांको आडको जहा किछि गुटे आसुची सेटा तांको सहाय्य करि पारिबो ओके एवं सहाय्यर गुटे अपॉर्चुनिटी बोली करी से माने समस्त खुश होउचंती किंतु से अननोन ऑब्जेक्ट जेतेले तांकर पाखो को आसिला से माने जानिबा को पाइले जे सेटा गुटे स्केलेटन शिप माने कोन से शिप रो केवल मात्र बार अछि आ किछि नाही बार अछि माने कोन केवल मात्र बार एम्ति बार अछि जेंति कि से शिप रो आरोपटे जो थी जे भी थिबे से एम्ति माने दृश्यमान होछि जेंति कि से गुटे जेल रे अछि एवं जेल भितरु ताकू देखुछि तो से शिप टे जेतेले तांकर पाखो को आसी गला पाखो को जेतेले आसिला शिप रो सेपटे से स्केलेटन शिप रो सेपटे सूर्य थिले तो तांकू दृश्यमान हैला जेंति कि सूर्य जेल भितरे अछंती एवं से बार भितरु माने सूर्य यांकू देखुचंती ओके एंड फाइनली दे स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग कि ए शिप टा कहार शिप रे केते जण यात्री अछंती केवल 2 जण ही अछंती कि यार क्रू मेंबर केवल मात्र माने महिला जण माने ही कि ओके एवं से डेथ जो अछि शिप रे जो डेथ अछि डेथ टा से महिलांकर साथी की एया बोली कि समस्त विचार करछन ओके एवं फाइनली से 2 जण जाको यस
सर जो 200 जो डेड बॉडी सेटा कोन से जो घोस्ट जो ये शिप थे लगी ना करथिला ना कार
ना एंशिएंट मेरिनर कर जो क्रू मेंबर थिले से माने कहउचंती जे एंशिएंट मेरिनर कर संगरे जते जण थिले से माने 200 जण संगरे थिले तांकर संगरे 200 जण थिले ओके एवं से अन्य पटरे जो अननोन शिप रे जो 2 जण थिले डेथ एंड लाइफ इन डेथ गोटे वुमेन ओके ए 2 जण कोन करचंती डाइस खेलुचंती लूडो खेलुचंती ओके माने कोन एज इफ दे आर एवं स्टेक रे की अछि स्टेक रे अछि यांकर सब जीवन ओके सो एपटे लोड माने से डाइस ता फिंगिले एपटे जनकर जीवनटा जाउछि ओके एई भलिया से माने खेलुचंती फाइनली थोरे डाइस फिंगिला परे से डेथ इन लाइफ इन डेथ चित्कार करछती दैट द गेम इज ओवर गेम सरी गला एंड आई हैव वोन मु जीती गली बोले चित्कार करछंती एवं कोन से जीतिचंती द लाइफ ऑफ ऑल द क्रू मेंबर्स ऑफ द एंशिएंट मेरिनर्स ओके तांकर जीवन सब जीतिचंती एवं तांकर जीवनटा सब केमती जाउछंती सेटा गुटे ड्रामाटिकली से एक्सप्रेस करछंती dramatically केमती express करछंती
सर
तांकर
जीवनटा काहार जीवनटा जाउची माने माने एंशिएंट मैरिनर को जो ता सीप रे जो माने थिले तांकर
yes
लाइफ जाउची
yes yes
एटा
ancient
किमती से डेथ किमती करछन सेटा मु जानि करू किमती
this
डेथ
is
तांकर हो
this is the dramatic expression of the another poetic form dramatic expressions okay जार द्वारा कि माने केमती जाउची काइना see this poetry is actually written by S.T. Coleridge এবং S.T. Coleridge कर तांकर लाइफ हिस्ट्री जतले मैं कहूतिली तुमको ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन करिछि that S.T. Coleridge is very famous for using the supernatural elements in his poetry so एठी से supernatural element को यूज करछंती माने कोन से माने डेथ को आणुछंती मझिरे ओके एवं से गेम खेलुची एवं with the game with the black magic we can say with the black magic से समस्तंकर जीवनटा नै जाउची इज इट क्लियर
जेमती सर से जो आगे जेमती सर से अफीम खाई के सोईथिले निदर उठी जो लेखथिले कुबला खान सर सेटा मो
yes it is quite different from that okay एठी मध्ये से supernatural element को यूज करूछंती ओके एवं एपटे से डाइस फिंकुचंती एवं डाइस फिंकला परे एपटे गोटे परे गोटे समस्तंकर जीवनटा जाउची
माने जो घोस्ट शिप रे जो दी जण अछंती से माने डाइस खेलला लको
Yes.
माने लाइफ चली जो अच्छा
yes घोस्ट शिप रे जमने अछंती से माने डाइस फिकुचंती एवं एपटे गोटे परे गोटे समस्तंकर जीवनटा जाउची एवं तांकर शरीर रु तांकर आत्माटा एते जोर रे माने बाहरी जाउची जेमति कि से तीर छाडुचंती ओके एंशिएंट मिरर तांकर क्रॉसबो यूज कला बेले तीर जेति फास्ट पलाए ठीक सेमती तांकर आत्मा भी सेही भलिया जाउची बोली करी एंशिएंट मिररटा एक्सप्लेन करछंती एवं एया कहिबार तरा से तांकर जो पश्चाताप गुटे होउची अल्बाट्रस को मारिबार जो पश्चाताप सेडा से एक्सप्रेस करिवा पई चेष्टा करछंती एवं तांकर जीवन जो आत्माटा जो छाडी के जाउची तांकर शरीर को